We have aimed at this since last year was over. We have 9 returning players from our team that played last year, and probably had about every difficult thing that could happen. We had a lot of injuries and just a lot of stuff that happened that when it's over, you feel like you're stronger because you did it, but while you're doing it, it's very difficult. And it was really, we came out of the last season feeling really good about the way our guys battled. And we played better as the season went on. We had Tommy Peller had a season-ending injury, but we kind of regrouped and made the playoffs. And Drew Tower did a great job providing leadership. I think through this spring and summer, our guys are different. They're obviously they're a year older, but they're also physically stronger. They're more athletic. We've worked hard at a lot of different kind of training techniques, and they know each other better. And just in our workouts and in our practices, we're able to do so much more than we've been able to do in the past 2 or 3 years, just because we have some numbers and we have older guys, and juniors and seniors now are leading our younger guys, and it just makes for a great atmosphere, and it's a much more competitive environment. Our seniors this year, Kyle Hanaway and Jake Burkholder, this is their 4th year of playing a lot of basketball for us. So they understand what we're about. They understand the level of competition, what it means to play in the MCC, and they're excited about it. They have. I think. I was talking to one of the guys that played when I first came here, and we talked a lot about the adversity makes you stronger. You grow and you learn through those difficult things, or you get out. And these guys have hung together. They know a whole lot more about staying the course now than they did. I mean, they're tougher-minded guys in the right kind of sense. They complement each other. Their abilities fit together. We still have work to do, and certainly not a finished product, but we're more like a basketball team than we have here. I would say we've got more basketball players, guys who understand how to play the game, who will physically compete. We're not bothered by contact. We'll play through contact better. We're going to be better defensively. We returned something like 90% of our scoring from last year. We've got some, and those guys who scored but didn't shoot the ball, they weren't especially efficient players last year as sophomores and juniors. They're much more efficient. They're more aware of how to help each other play. I would expect that this may not mean a lot to the average fan, but just shot selection will be better. Quality of shots that we get, our ability to affect the other guys' shots. I think we had some guys who scored well, but they forced a lot of shots, had to under pressure, that kind of. I don't think we have to do that so much anymore. I think they understand each other. I think we're going to be able to be a whole lot more inside oriented than we have been. I think last year what happened early was that Nate Casper was injured and didn't have a preseason at all. His leg was in a brace. So as a result, when we started talking about running offense with ball screens and that kind of thing, our guards really were our scoring options. And then as a result, as those big guys got healthy and got back in there, we still weren't used to throwing the ball inside and really taking advantage of them. We've had some time together now, and we've got some a chance to train guys, and our inside game is much better. The one guy who would be in both categories is Casey Coons. But Casey's one of those guys that last year scored the ball well for us, but I wouldn't say he was especially efficient. I think he just toughed it out. He had some injuries and just some tough things. When you're the guy who's the impact player, the guy that's going to shoot the shot, and everybody on the other team knows you're going to shoot the shot, it's really hard to get that one. And so he's learned, and he's much more vocal. And especially that's just kind of happened in the last week or so. He's kind of stepping up and taking control of some things like he should. And then along with that, in this whole leadership area, Kyle Hanaway's doing the same thing. Kyle has lost about 15 pounds from last year and is much quicker, much more athletic. Last year he was bothered by a back injury most all season and just was tough enough to play through it. This year he's been a lot healthier, and he's just a much better athlete. And The guy loves to play the game and he loves to compete, and those two guys really give us good leadership. Nate Casper is back. Nate averaged about 12 points a game last year, and he should be a guy who could score more this year. I mean, we should be able to do more with him inside. He's got to learn to get himself open when guys are ready to throw the ball, and some of those things that postmen have to do. But along with him, Jake Burkholder has, because we've changed offenses, and we've got him outside and running to the basket and doing some of that kind of thing now. He's been scoring well for us in scrimmages and that kind of thing, and so he had a great summer. So I think those guys will all be much improved. Tommy Peller came back off the broken wrist, and he is really still, you wouldn't think so, I mean, he hurt himself last January, but he's still getting back into basketball, competitive basketball readiness, I think. He certainly wants to. He's got a great attitude. He's a hard worker. But he's still got to get back up to competitive speed with a lot of things. And I think he's a lot better, a lot more aware of like team defense and some of those kinds of things that coaches like to stress. Josh Raikkonen, he's a sophomore now, and he's much improved. And he's much improved in a lot of aspects of the game. He's a really good offensive rebounder and has a real knack for the ball around the basket. Can score at some, but his defense has really been a whole lot better. He's 6'7". He's going to be a rebounder and a defender and just a guy who can play either post or strong forward and help us, I think. And Ben Rachel is back. Ben is a sophomore now, and Ben did a good job filling in last year when Tommy went out. Played those last games as a freshman. Got some really valuable experience, and he's much tougher. I think, and I don't use that word lightly. I mean, I think toughness refers to the ability to compete more consistently, to be on task, more plays, and not be easily discouraged. And I think he's still in a situation, I think, when you're sophomore and you are, that we have to continue to learn the program, learn how we're going to play exactly, and break old habits. But I think he should have a chance to play significant minutes. I think two guys I would want to mention, because I think they are certainly representative of all we'd like to feel is important to Taylor basketball, and that's Nate Burdett, who's a junior, and Jake Hoffman. Both of those guys are walk-on players, and they're guys who've been with us now for 2 years, and they just epitomize what you'd like in a student athlete. They come out and work hard, compete hard. They support their teammates. They believe in this. They're excited about Taylor University. Christian young men who we're just really proud of them. And then I guess that brings us to freshmen. Ian Dutcher is a 6'9" freshman from up near the Chicago area, and he's just in the last week or so made big strides forward. He's going to be a factor this year. I wouldn't think he's going to start, but and he'll have to continue to work on the fitness level and the competitive level of college basketball. But he makes a difference. He takes up a lot of space, and he's got great hands, and he's just going to get better as he plays more and more with college level athletes. And then I think as he comes out and really learns to use practice to get better, and he's doing that in a much better way lately. Jesse Coffey is from Batavia, Illinois, and he has come in here and pretty athletic, really a bright kid, hard worker, has got to adjust to the physicality of college basketball. He's a good scorer in high school. Sometimes those guys don't play a lot of defense in high school. I mean, it's their role on their team, and so he's adjusting to the whole competitiveness, the physical nature of college basketball. And I say that in a good way. He's had a chance to do that better than our kids have in the last couple of years because we haven't been this competitive in practice. When you go out there and practice, it's like game night a lot of nights. Those guys have done a good job of getting after each other, and it's a good time for these young guys to be here because they're working with some guys who intend to get good at this and kind of hold them accountable. But It's not so much that they have to be held accountable as much as they have to just be led. They have to be shown, and they need examples in front of them. And we've got some of those guys. Darrell Jordan is another freshman from Brownsburg, and he is kind of a guy, we're still trying to find a position for him. He's really athletic, long arms, quick off his feet. I think he's going to be more like a four-man, a forward of some kind, but down the road in his future he may be a small forward, a guy who can go out on the floor and handle the ball and do some of that kind of. Learning what we do is huge. He's played more of a pressure defensive kind of a game, and he's going to have to learn to back off and be a helper and see the whole game, anticipate where he can go make a difference with his athletic ability. And then Josh Forbes is another walk-on from Ohio, and he's really done a good job. He's been I want to say a surprise, but not that so much. Just a real testimony to hard work. This has been hard for him. It was hard in conditioning, but he's fought his way through that, and he makes a difference out there in practice.